Hello VC, Michael, Clash City Rocker, with a video about my favorite artists, bands, performers, according to Discogs. Now, over the years, I've watched a bunch of different videos where people have talked about their favorite bands, their favorite performers, and they've used different criteria. They'll say best, whatever the case may be. I just watched one the other day where the person limited themselves to 25, and as they were working their way through this list, they're like, oh, I forgot so-and-so, and then I forgot so-and-so, and then for some reason they decided to respond to the comments where people were saying, well, how could you forget so-and-so or not include so-and-so? So my background is academia, so I chose a little bit of a different approach. Now, it might not be the best approach, but what I did is I looked at Discogs and the records that I have inventoried in Discogs to look at which artists I have the most records, thinking that your money is where your mouth is. So if I have more records of one person, then that person must be my favorite artist. So I believe I'm pretty close to 25 here. We'll see how long this goes, and I'll get started. Well, I call myself Clash City Rocker. I don't know whether or not I am or not. Clash behind me. So clearly my number one is the Clash. And we've talked about Sandinista. Everybody talks about Sandinista, but what I want to show you today is this one, Sandinista Now, which is a sampler that Epic put out around the same time. That's a one record version of Sandinista with, I believe, 12 different tracks. So here you go, pre-mixtape world, a one track Sandinista. So the Clash are my favorite artists according to Discogs, and I have 108 Clash records. My second most popular artist according to Discogs is the Beatles. I have 84 records according to Discogs. This is interesting. I know last year these came out, the reissues, the mono reissues. Some loved them, some hated them. What I found interesting was they replicated the liner notes or the inner sleeves. Well, here's a second edition one, and it's the same, but the colors are different. So I'm wondering if my sleeve is wrong. But second favorite band, the Beatles, with 84 records. Third favorite, according to Discogs, is David Bowie. According to Discogs, I have 67 David Bowie records. There was some thread a few years ago, or a few months ago, like record store day purchases you actually listen to. Well, you should have gotten this one because this is better than Stage. This is Bolu in 78 with the great Bowie right after Low and Heroes with tons of great tracks, 3-record set. And my fourth favorite band artist according to Discogs is the Stones. This is my original beat up, love to death, don't care. For those of us who never got to see the Stones when we were in high school, records like this kind of were a great substitute. A couple months ago, I kind of helped somebody disperse a collection, and this was one of the ones in there. This is Liver Than You'll Ever Be, one of those original bootlegs, but this is the Potboiler version, so it's a bootleg of a bootleg, I think. But this is that 69 Oakland one, which I used to have on CD, which allegedly this was so popular, and I think it's like the third ever bootleg, that the Stones decided they had to put this out. So my fourth favorite band, Rolling Stones. Fifth favorite band, The Jam. Now, the one thing about my categorization system in Discogs is if I need to have 10 of an artist to create its own folder. Otherwise, I have combo folders. And so I'm cheating a little bit, I guess, because I have Paul Weller and The Jam together. So I don't think I have 10 Weller records, but I have more than that for The Jam. So I put them together. Anyways, this is original 1990s UK modern classics. I remember getting this in England initially with a live track. Love me some Paul Weller, The Jam. So my fifth favorite according to Discogs is Paul Weller and The Jam. which segues into this one. Number 6 favorite band according to Discogs is The Who. So Kids Are All Right. Kind of mentioned this last time. This is my original. Bought this at the time. This movie came out right after Who Are You? Blew our brains. Those of us who only knew a little bit of The Who. I mean, look at this first side, and they're all live. My Generation Can't Explain. Happy Jack. I Can See for Miles. Magic Bus. Long Live Rock. Then you flip it over. Anywhere, Anyhow. Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere. Young Man Blues. My Wife and Barbara. I mean, this is such a great one. This is my original. For some reason, I managed to not destroy the booklet. Read it 1,000 times. 7th favorite band. You can see I'm kind of a Brit or Anglophile, I suppose. 7th favorite band according to, oh, how many Who ones I have? 34 Who, 46 Jam. Sorry. The Kinks, 31 Kinks records. This I found a couple years ago. The Great Lost Kinks album, The Contractual Obligation. I used to have 3 versions of this on CD. But To Death Do Us Part, There's Still No Life Without Love. There's some great songs on here. Okay, sticking in my British Isles, my 8th favorite band according to Discogs is The Small Faces. Now again, I'm cheating. I have The Small Faces, Faces, and Rod Stewart all lumped together. This is the first immediate record, but they kind of tweaked it a little bit. Love this title. For Your Delight, The Darlings of Wapping Wharf Laundrette. Not to be confused with the 2 CD compilation. Small Faces, my 8th favorite band according to Discogs. And then my 9th favorite band according to Discogs is The Dead. And I'm showing this because some people love this and some people hate this, but I think this is amazing. And this is a Dead compilation with artists covering Dead songs, and it's Susan Vega, Bruce Hornsby, Elvis Costello, Los Lobos, Dwight Yoakam, Lyle Lovett, Midnight Oil, Dr. John, Jane's Addiction, Indigo Girls, etc. It doesn't get into long jams, but it's a focus on the songs. And if you can find this, I think it's a German copy. So my 9th favorite band according to Discogs is The Dead with 31 records. My 10th favorite one according to Discogs is Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground. The original 1970s first press. My favorite Velvet Underground album, Loaded. Love this album. After all, who loves the sun? My 11th favorite artist according to Discogs is this guy, Prince. I have 30 Prince records, and just like Sandinista, don't know if you know this, but there's a 1-record version of 1999 as well. This one is from Europe, although it's got the US Super Saver series, so I don't know what's going on with this. But yeah, it has 7 of the tracks, so if you don't want to listen to some of the so-called weaker tracks, you can do this. 12th favorite artist according to Discogs, with 28 records, Bob Dylan. Such an underrated record. Daniel Lanois, that we always talk about later, but I love this one. The 1-2 punch of Everything Is Broken and Ring Them Bells. Killer. Dylan, Staying in America, 13th favorite artist according to Discogs. I have 27 Elvis records. When I was younger in high school, I think I got this in after high school, but you know, you get kind of stereotyped into Elvis, you don't really understand. So this is the Memphis era, that 68, 69 so-called comeback time for Elvis. First of all, he looks great. Such great songs on here. Stranger in My Hometown, Long Black Limousine, you know some of the hits that are on here. And then my 14th favorite artist according to Discogs is this person, Neil Young. This was, again, if I had done the Vinyl Tag 2025, one of my favorite record finds of last year. In the Shrink, pristine, 1990, Ragged Glory. Favorite Neil Young album, pre-grunge, but just rocking out garage style with Crazy Horse. So I have 27 Neil Young records. And then I saw the prog tag. People were saying favorite prog purchase of 2024. This would be mine. King Crimson, Sheltering Skies. It's live Crimson, the Beat tour with the great quartet, the best version of Crimson. I did see Beat last year with Levin and Blue. Not the same, but this is a great document. So 27 King Crimson records, number 15. Number 16, another one of those record store day purchases. Again, I don't know where people are coming from saying they don't listen to the ones they buy for record store day. Emmylou. I have 26 Emmylou records, 3 discs of this amazing, speaking of Daniel Lanois, another Daniel Lanois production, Emmylou Harris, Wrecking Ball. And then I'm going to show 2 because I got kind of not sure which one. So my 17th favorite artist is The Replacements, number 20. I have 26 Replacement records. Now, when you're dealing with a band like Replacements, who had, what, 7 records versus the Stones, who have had 40, obviously you can buy a lot more Stones records, but this is probably my favorite band in many ways. This is another beautiful copy. This is in the shrink. This is cool because it has the original liner notes. I love looking at old liner notes for records back in the day from these small indie labels. You could get the Replacements I'm in Trouble 7-inch single for $3. There you go. Good luck trying to find that today. And then here's another original, first edition. Sorry, Ma, I forgot to take out the trash. And again, this is the one that has the inner sleeve. I guess none of the rest of them did. So my favorite, 17th favorite band according to Discogs, I have 26 Replacement records. And then my 18th favorite band according to Discogs is U2. This is an interesting one. I found this in like a garage sale with a bunch of early 80s, like 70, or actually late 70s U2 bootlegs, but they had this, which is a live Joshua Tree tour. And I don't know if, I think this might be a fan club only thing or it's a bootleg, but it sounds unbelievable. And apparently I have 25 U2 records. One note on my collection, this is the 4th collection I've started. I had a collection when I was a kid. I had another whole collection in a different lifetime. And then I did a cassette or a CD one that I just sold, which was like 10,000 or something. Now I'm just doing vinyl. So this is my 4th collection. So those numbers would have been different if you had done this 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. 19th favorite artist is Miles Davis. 24 records, actually 25, because I just bought Birth of the Blue, which is in the mail. My favorite Miles record, In a Silent Way. It's another record store day one. This is called Miles Davis Early Minor. Love this era, Miles. I wish he had done that more, but he's Miles. He can do whatever the heck he wants. And then my 20th favorite artist is Paul McCartney. Now, here's the thing though. I had that, 80-some Beatle records, but I have separate categories for George Harrison, John Lennon, and McCartney because I have more than 10 of them. So 22 McCartney records. This is a forgotten McCartney record. Even he seems to have walked away from it. He did it with Declan McManus. I love this. My Brave Face is on here. I don't know. I just always loved it. I think it's a great one. I think it's from 1989. This one's not easy to find. All right. Time to do a couple more. 21st favorite band, Love and Rockets. This compilation, I think this is an American comp. So good. I have all the Love and Rockets records, but saw these guys on their first tour. I have a crazy story about that day someday. So I have 19 Bauhaus Love and Rockets records. And then the next, kind of cheating and doing another greatest hits. 22nd favorite is Roxy Music, Brian Ferry. This is a great comp as well. 2 record set. I know there's a whole bunch of Roxy comps, but this is the best one to get. 2 records, some Brian Ferry tracks. All of their career is on here. Every song is killer. Again, people ridicule greatest hits records, but that's not me. So I have 19 Roxy and 19 Bauhaus and Love and Rockets. Apparently I also have 19 Smith's records. I love this one. I accidentally found this one. This is an EP, Headmaster's Ritual, along with Nowhere Fast, Stretch Out, and Wait, Shakespeare's Sister and Nita's Murder. Typical brilliant cover. And then my 24th favorite artist is Jeff Beck and the Yardbirds. I have 18 of these. This is a great bootleg. Golden Eggs. There's a bunch of different versions of this, but it's kind of a little bit of outtakes and alternates and songs that aren't on records with the full gamut. Clapton, Page, and Beck. Whoops, as I drop it. Golden Eggs. You can find that one. It's worth picking up. And then speaking of Declan McManus, he's my 25th favorite artist. I have 18 EC records. This is a great comp. I think this is English. Really comprehensive. Great comp. Every song on here is killer. B-sides, A-sides, Taking Liberties tracks. So good. And then my 26th favorite artist with 18 records is Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And the Runaways. This is great. There's Jerry Curry, an original Mercury press. Great find. Not too many of those out there in that great of shape. And then country fans, don't worry. In addition to Emmylou, I also have Johnny Cash, Man in Black. I just love this whole ethos. Johnny Cash, my 27th favorite artist with 18 records. Very topical. I think this came out in 1971. And just a couple more. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, my 28th favorite. Again, I kind of lumped in the three solo people together. But this is that David Crosby record, and I see this in record stores all the time. This is such a great record. It's so different. It's so wild. It's so out there. And I love it. If I could only remember my name. And then same tribe, basically. Jefferson Airplane, another comp. This is my 29th favorite band. I have 17 Jefferson Airplane albums. I like the way it's organized. A beginning side, a psychedelica side, a revolution side, and an airplane parts side. So good. This was right before their reunion one. I remember having him sign this. CD, of course. And then just a couple more. My 30th favorite band, Blur. In fact, my favorite of the so-called Britpop, we'll just call it English rock pop bands of the 90s, and now, for that matter, is 17 Blur records. This is one of their Wembley concerts. Kind of plays like a greatest hits because the best of Blur is ridiculously expensive. And then finally, I did one extra one. My 31st favorite artist is Bruce. I have 17 Bruce records. And I was so happy to find this. Bruce Springsteen at Alpine Valley. It's a bootleg 4-record set, both volumes, because this is the first Bruce show I ever saw, which was killer. I didn't even know anything about him. Now, these numbers I've been giving in terms of how many I have of a record are probably not accurate. There's probably more. It's just what I've entered into Discogs. But the whole point behind this video is to introduce myself to the VC, talk to you about who my favorite artists are. Instead of subjectively coming up with a list, I was going to use data, and I'm using the data that I'd entered into Discogs, which is me cataloging my records, and Discogs says, like, for example, that I have 17 Bruce Springsteen albums. Okay, there you go. I did the entire list. It's interesting though, like the category that I have the most of is 80s England, which is this entire row. You guys can't see it, but I have other separated ones. There's like 200 and some 80s England, but it doesn't include the Jam, the Clash, etc., etc. And then right below those, I have 9 bands that I have 16 records each of: Aerosmith, Zeppelin, Beach Boys, Eric Clapton with Cream, John Lennon, The Byrds, The Cure, The Pistols, Public Image Limited, and Willie Nelson. So Michael, Clash City Rocker. Again, an attempt to introduce myself to the BC. Let me know if you like these videos. Make comments. I really want to engage in a dialogue. Subscribe. I subscribe to you. And peace out.